Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May no one suffer from any illness. May all see only goodness everywhere. Let no one have any kind of suffering. May there be peace, peace and peace everywhere by God's grace. Good morning, friends. The subject of my talk this morning is God good? Having been in this country for more than 45 years, I think, and I had to go to different places on invitation. And I had to visit Calgary many times on invitation. Then I was staying in some member's home, member of the Vedanta group their home. And in their home, on the wall there was a framed writing, God is good. That was the writing. But I was a little different in the sense, even as a child, I had so many questions to ask. And I asked my mother all those questions. Had I been born in this country, my mother would have named me Mr. Why. Why this, why that, like that I used to ask her. Or what is that? Then my mother said there was a boy like you in Europe and he used to ask too many questions. Then his mother said, my child, you read then you will know. Then I started going to a children's library, but I did not find answers to my questions in most of those books. Eventually, after quite a few years, I found answers to many of my questions. And by reading a book which I didn't have to buy, that is the book of my own mind. So that's how I came to know. We often use words without knowing their inner meanings. And we read the word good, but most of us do not know what makes anything good. So while in India, before coming to this country, I was still in the Ramakrishna Order, and I had to go for some reason to one of our centers in Mysore city in South India. That center was an educational center, and it used to run a residential high school which was very famous for its quality of education. And its name was Mysore Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala. So when I visited Mysore, then a Swami took me to that school. And then I was taken to the top class of that school. And there, the Swami said to me, pointing to a boy, he's a very good boy, ask him your questions. Then I asked that boy, are you a good boy? The boy said, yes, people think so. And I said, why are you a good boy? Do you know? The boy did not know. Then I told him a good boy is he who makes willing and loving self-sacrifice for other boys. And the same way, a good friend is he who willingly and lovingly makes self-sacrifice for his friends. Who is a good husband? A good husband is he who willingly and lovingly makes self-sacrifice for his wife. And who is a good wife? A good wife is she who willingly and lovingly makes self-sacrifice for her husband, not grudgingly. So it looks like there is some close relationship between being good and making self-sacrifice. We in our day-to-day world also we judge goodness in terms of unselfishness. So Swami Vivekananda was Sri Ramakrishna's foremost disciple, and he is adored all over India and also in other countries also, some other countries. And he used to say, unselfishness is God. Unselfishness is God. God does not have any selfishness. Why not? Yes, God. Doesn't God have a mind? Yes, God may have a mind, but there is no selfishness there. Selfishness is there in people because of their ego. It is the ego which is the basis of selfishness. I, that sense. That's why I sometimes say that we have to grow spiritually by crushing our ego. I heard from some monk that when a young monk came and joined our order, then an elderly Swami asked him, "Do you know the name of the monastic order which you have joined?" The young man said, "Yes, I know. And in India our order is called Ramakrishna Mission." They said, "Yes, the name of the order is Ramakrishna Mission." And the elderly Swami said, "No, it is not Ramakrishna Mission, it is Ramakrishna Machine." What kind of machine? False ego crushing machine. Ego crushing machine. Ego causes selfishness. So when that ego is crushed and gone, then only unselfishness remains. Also I explain it a little more differently. That is, the owner and the object owned cannot be the same. If you own a house, then you cannot be that house because you are the owner. If you own a car, you can't be that car because you are the owner of that car. What about your body? You own your body. Can you be your body as the owner? Obviously not. What about your sense organs and motor organs? Sense organs are, in Sanskrit, chakshu, karna, nasika, jiva, tvak. That means the eyes, ears, the nose, and the tongue, and the skin. These are the sense organs. And there are motor organs also. Bhak, pani, pada, payavu, upastha. That means the organ of speech, the organ which helps us to move around, that means our feet, the organ with the help of which we grab things, that is our hands, and the organ which helps us to eliminate the digested food from our body, that means our anus, that is another motor organ. And the organ which helps people to reproduce children, that means the sexual organ. These are all motor organs. And there is an inner organ which is called the mind. So you own your mind. As the owner, you have to be different from your mind. But the center of your individual existence is a thought of your conscious mind. That thought is I. I. That is it is generated by the ego. But how can I be your mind? You're the owner of your mind. You have to be different from it. So when the ego is crushed, then what remains? Oh, that elderly Swami implied that what remains is divinity. Sarvang Khalidam Brahma. Divinity, everything is divinity. And divinity is beyond time, space and causation. That's what you are. So the Ramakrishna mission is ego-crushing machine. She will acquire your identification with divinity. That's what that elderly Swami was trying to teach the young monk. So God must be beyond ego, because selfishness comes from ego. But why is there selfishness in God's creation? Then we have to explain to you what is this creation of God. In the ancient scripture, Rig Veda, there is a hymn. It is called Nasadiya Sukta. In English it is translated as creation hymn. There it has been described how the world was created. When there was nothing from that, how this world was created. Then how the world gradually evolved, everything was described there nicely. Darkness was hidden by darkness. This sentence was also there. And anyway, but at the end, that hymn has these two lines, which means, has the world been really created? Does the Creator know it, or does? Maybe he does not know. Why the Creator will not know? The answer is, the Creator created this world with the help of his power of magic, which in Sanskrit is called Maya. And I have often used this analogy that think that I am a magician, I am a great hypnotist, I can do mass hypnotism. You are all seated around me and I hypnotize you all. And then I tell you, look at the tiger sitting near my feet. Then you all will be seeing that tiger because you are hypnotized. But will I see that tiger? I am the hypnotist. No, I will not see that tiger. So also God has created this world by his power of magic. He is the magician. He doesn't see the world. But we, who are under the sway of his power of magic, we see this world. We are the product of God's magic. That's why in the Nasadiya Sukta it is mentioned. Does God know that this world has been created? Because God has created this world by his Maya. Also our scriptures say, Satchit Ekam Brahma. That alone which exists is divinity, God. Or Satchit Anandam. God is existence and consciousness and bliss. That is also mentioned. God is existence. We exist because God exists. Maya exists because the magician exists. So we can use an analogy of the movie screen. In the movie screen is white. It does not have any color. And motion pictures are projected on that movie screen. They have different colors, they have different forms. And when the motion picture is being projected, then whatever is there in the motion picture appears to be real. But their existence is completely dependent on the movie screen. Had the movie screen not been there, they would not exist. So that movie screen is divinity. And who is the projectionist? The projectionist is also God. God, with the help of the magic, has been projecting all these pictures on the movie screen. And all those pictures have existence because the movie screen is there. So because of the existence of God, everything appears to exist. So the projectionist is also God. And our scriptures say that God is avang manasogocharam. God cannot be described through words, and God cannot be known by ordinary minds belonging to this world of magic. So you have to depend on the divine incarnations. What is a divine incarnation? That can be explained with the help of an analogy. The analogy is the analogy of our dream world. The dreamer sees the dream world, full of so many things and so many beings, and thinks that everything in the dream world is real. And his dream body is real, his dream clothes are also real. Then someone in the dream world comes to him and says, you know, you are not real, this dream world is your creation. Then he will think that, the dreamer will think that this person doesn't know anything. Then suddenly a tiger appears there and is about to pounce on the dreamer. And the dreamer gets scared and the dream world is dissolved. And along with the dream world, the dream tiger is also dissolved. This dream tiger was responsible for the dissolution of the dream world of the dreamer. But along with the dream world, the dream tiger is also gone, but it helped the dreamer to get rid of his or her dream. So also there are some dream tigers in this world also. This world in which we are. Our scriptures say that those who are awake, they think that they are awake, but they are not really awake. They are walking in dreams. That's why there is a statement, Uttishtata, Jagrata, Praitpavaran Nibodhata. That means you are all dream walking. Arise from that. and become awake. And after becoming awake, find those superior ones, and with the help of them become enlightened, get to know the truth. Who are the superior ones? The superior ones are the dream tigers. In this world, they are dream tigers, but they are called divine incarnations. Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus Christ, Sri Chaitanya, and in this is Ramakrishna and Sri Sarada Devi, they are divine incarnations. With their help we shall become enlightened, we shall get to know the truth about us. And what truth shall we know? We shall know that we are no other than divinity. And we will also get to know that God is beyond good and evil. Good and evil, they coexist in this world only, in this world created by Maya. That's why some philosophers say this is a world of pairs of opposites. If you know goodness, then you will know badness. You knowing one thing and not the other, it is not possible. If you know darkness, you will know light. Those who are born blind, they don't know what is darkness and what is light. To know them, you should be sighted. So also in this world of Maya, in this world created by God's magic, good and evil coexist. They are opposites of each other. But beyond this world, there is no goodness or nothing evil. So God is beyond good and evil. That's what is the conclusion. God is beyond good and evil. Is God good? The answer is no. Is God bad or evil? The answer is no. God is beyond this world of pairs of opposites, which has been created by God's power of magic. So, if this question is asked, is God good? The answer is God is neither good nor bad. God is beyond both. Good and evil exist only in this world of God's Maya, but it is not there in God. And I raised another question, why is there selfishness in God's creation? Selfishness is a matter of interpretation only. There are some people who, by thinking of God all the time, their minds become transformed into pure minds. And then they can see that everything is happening according to God's will. To them there is nothing good or nothing bad. And this idea has been given by saints, and they are available in our scriptures. In the form of parables, they present this truth, those divine incarnations. There is a story, a parable of a person who was a cloth seller. He used to think of God so many times that his mind had become completely pure. And he could sense the presence of divinity in everything and every being. One day, while he was in his shop, he saw a certain sight, that is, one person killed another person. He was the only one who saw that. But immediately after that, the police came and caught that killer. And the police came to this person and said to the cloth seller and said, "You are the sole witness of this murder. So you have to be our witness in the court of law." And he could not say no. Then at night somebody gives him a phone call and says, "I am that person who is the murderer, I am his friend. If you bear witness against him in the court of law, then he will also be killed by us." So then that cloth seller eventually goes to the court, and the judge asks him, pointing to the murderer, "Did you see this person commit murder?" And then this cloth seller said, "Your Honor, I can neither say yes nor can I say no. Then the judge said, "It cannot be so. You must be able to say whether yes or no." Then the cloth seller said, "Your Honor, if you allow me, then I will make you understand why I am saying so." He said, "All right." He said, "You will have to allow me to ask a question." Then this cloth seller asked the judge, "Your Honor, do you still beat your wife?" Now, now the judge is in such a situation. If he says he does not, that means he used to beat his wife, which is not true. Then again, if he says yes, that is even worse. So there are situations where you can neither say no or yes. So about the power of magic of God also, the same thing is said. That you can neither say that Maya exists, nor can you say that Maya does not exist. The subject of my talk was, is God good? The answer is, God is beyond good and evil. That is the answer. And according to Advaita Vedanta, non-dualistic school of Vedanta, they have a concept of God. It's called Nirguna Brahman. That means impersonal divinity or something. So I'll talk about that next Sunday. That the background of this talk, that talk will be more understandable. Thank you all so much for your patience. I should say good night to all of you.